Well, it is great to be with you guys today. Very excited to be able to premiere this episode. It's like having a baby every time you release something like this. The amount of hours, the planning, the thought that goes into it. And I think there are people here who don't know much about Edge Factor. And so I really want to take some time to talk to them a little bit, because Edge Factor is really meant to be much more than just a show. It's meant to be more than entertainment. When we started this thing, we had a much bigger idea. And so I want to talk about that. Edge Factor really, it's about getting back to what made North America great. We want to get back to our roots. What defined us as a country? And so we want to talk about that. The other thing, we believe that it's about igniting a passion for manufacturing. Because if you don't like what you do, you're not going to do it for very long. And so we want to show people who are passionate about it. We want to show it in an exciting environment. And we think that's the way that you're going to connect with youth. And so if I can, I'd like to take you kind of back to the journey that we've been on so you understand sort of the evolution of what Edge Factor is right now.
For over 200 years, man has been surrounding himself with machines. They shaped our lives, they shaped our history, and our future. They change the very nature of our being, and everything we touch was touched by them first. They are everywhere. They redefine the boundaries of what is possible, and they push back the edge of our experience. They are the Edge.
So that was the beginning of the trailer that we put back when we first started on this thing. And I'm still kind of blown away by that concept. I worked in manufacturing for over 10 years. I still am very active in the industry. And for the last 15 years, I continue to marvel at the fact that pretty much everything that defines who we are, the things we deal with, the things that we do on a daily basis, if it wasn't for manufacturing, what would we have? And so I remember talking about that with colleagues, about the fact that, I don't think my family really gets what I do. I don't think they really understand me that well. And I don't think they understand that what we do is actually important. And so, we talked, we kind of came up with this conclusion that most people do not understand how things are made. They don't really understand why that really matters. And so Edge Factor really was for us a bigger thing. It was born out of a desire to show that manufacturing is the backbone of our economy. And so I laid out some of my ideas, and I started working on a plan. How were we going to do this? And I started to speak to different people in the industry. Having worked in the industry for as long as I did, I had some connections, and ultimately met the guys from Modern Machine Shop. They're great support. The client family, they really encouraged me. Hey, this is worthwhile. Why don't you pursue this? And so then we started talking about what maybe a first production could look like. They said, hey, IMTS is looming. Maybe we could do something there. And so I thought, well, okay, let's assemble a team. And so I pulled in Francois Dries, an award-winning director, and we started chatting. Okay, what could we do that would be, sort of eye-catching? We thought, go big or go home, right? If you're going to do something, do it right. So we shot our first thing in 3D. And I'll tell you what, we lost about 10 years off of our lives in the 10 weeks of production. But with, I think, an hour to spare, we got our product ready for IMTS, and we were able to release a trailer with Boeing and Rolls-Royce.
This IMTS. Come face to face with astounding manufacturing challenges.
Engineers, designers, programmers, all wrapped up in one person.
Their processes and technology of extreme achievement.
The result is, it's a better design, it's a better rig.
Real life, real stories, real manufacturing. Man, machine. The Edge Factor Show. Experience it in 3D.
So this is a bit, this is interesting. We threw it out there, hey, what's the response could be like? And it was awesome. We had people coming up to us, businessmen, teachers, saying, you know what, the idea it's excellent. We got to get our young people excited about manufacturing. Now, for a lot of you, that's not new. But for me, at the time, it was kind of like, oh, wow, this is interesting. I never thought about that. That specifically, businesses were not able to fill their positions because they didn't have, I remember experiencing that people didn't get it, but I didn't really think about the implications of the fact that our workforce was going to be waning. And so teachers came to us. I was invited to speak at a couple of different places. And I remember one conversation with one teacher. She said this to me. This might be the most effective recruiting tool that we have ever used. And then we started hearing other things. This is a really fresh way to show our youth that this is a rewarding and exciting career choice. So I don't know if you hear it, but there's kind of a theme going here. Education, we heard a lot about that. But for us at that point, we were thinking, maybe we need to go broadcast. So we started talking with different networks, and we started pursuing what we thought maybe was the path that we should be on. And we kind of quickly realized that what they really wanted from us was drama. They wanted to know how many times I was going to say someone almost died before the commercial break. They wanted to know what was at stake, and they wanted to know if it was going to have internal conflict. And we really, that wasn't what our heart was. That wasn't what we wanted to do. And we, after speaking to people in the industry, really felt like that was not what they wanted from us either. And so that kind of left us with a lot of questions. I remember talking with the Kleins and some of the other people from Modern Machine Shop. If we're not a television show, well, what are we? Who is our audience? So it kind of left a lot of questions around us. And so it was around this time, as we were walking down that road, I think my beeper's not working. And one more time. We released the Chilean mine rescue story.
They've gone underground in search of copper and gold.
As 33 miners are found alive in a collapsed mine.
They'll be trapped for weeks longer, perhaps even months.
It's believed they're trapped in a space the size of a small apartment.
It's something that's never been done, but we felt that with our past experience, depths, diameters, and rock hardness, that we truly had a shot at it.
The darkness conjures up images of what could be. The ceiling starts to feel like it's getting lower.
Crumpled, dirty notes were pulled from a drill sent down into the mine.
Human life is a completely different set of parameters. That's why we were out there working 2 and 3 days without any sleep at all. Everything was just flying and going wonderful. And then all of a sudden, our worst nightmare happened, and everything just ground to a screeching halt.
Well, very exciting story. Probably one of the biggest stories that had ever hit the internet. And it was really neat to meet these guys and to be actually working with them. And the response was great. We had all sorts of people excited about that. I don't know if any of you remember, we were at MFG, and we had a lot of people come up to us afterwards. They were excited. Teachers were excited. I'm often excited, so it was great not to feel lonely. And I was invited to go speak to a lot of different people after that. And again, another conversation with a teacher. I don't know if you see the theme here, but had a conversation with a teacher. And then he said this to me. He said, that was really quite incredible. I wish I could take my whole class to the shop that was featured in the Edge Factor. What a great learning experience. And then I had an idea. And those of you who know me well know that I have a lot of ideas. And quite frankly, most of my ideas are not good ones. Actually, most of them are bad, just being honest. But this one stuck, and the idea was really this for me. If we can't bring their class to an Edge Factor set, perhaps we could bring the Edge Factor set to the classroom. Well, what does that look like? And started mulling over this.
In the milling process, the bit stays stationary as the cutting tool spins, cutting and shaping the part.
Anytime anything fails, you leave no stone unturned. I mean, we needed to look at that point in time at everything. And we literally had to redesign our chuck system and our bushing system on the fly. We went through what normally would be a 2 or 3 month process in 3 days. We redesigned our system within the matter of 12 hours. And in the matter of 2 more days, our manufacturing facility was able to manufacture these new parts and pieces for us and get them on an airplane.
You would get things running in one machine, and while that operation was running in one machine, we had the next machine, the guy setting up for the operation. There was no waiting until the part was complete until you moved into the next operation.
Human life is a completely different set of parameters. I mean, that's why we were out there working 2 and 3 days without any sleep at all, literally living in a steel shipping container.
Inspiring story, but with teaching moments in it. And so we started to analyze that. And we were looking at this thing because we recognized that there's all this technology going around. And so Edge Factor really brings technology to life in the context of a story. And we believe also that a cinematic story makes for a great teaching moment. See, it's not just this disconnected train, not really understand how it applies to real life. No, you connect much, much better when you can attach it to something. And so we thought about that. We just finished that episode. We're going to go on to produce another one. And we're here, of course, for Gnarly Metal. Gnarly Metal is the next episode. And when we started thinking about what we were going to produce, we really wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to achieve multiple things. And so when we started thinking about it, we knew that this next episode needed to do a few things for us. We wanted the next episode to be a topic that connected with youth. We thought that was really important. We wanted one that would show innovation from start all the way to finish, right through the design process, all the way to making something and seeing it used. And we also, quite frankly, we just want to make manufacturing look awesome because we think that's a really important part of getting people excited about what we do. And so I kind of looked through different emails. I had a lot of them. I had a lot of shops coming to me, and there was one email that really stood out for me. It was a really intriguing email from a guy named Greg Parrish, sitting down here, and actually he's going to be on the panel later. Greg wrote me something very intriguing. It's probably not the right word. Colorful maybe is more, and I'd repeat it here, but I actually can't. Not in polite company anyway. So we are very excited. The next episode is with straight line components. Mountain biking is the topic, as you probably already know from the trailer that's been circulating. And kind of taking everything that we have learned on this journey, we knew that we wanted to make this episode an educational tool for educators and businesses as well, to use for training purposes. And so to do this, we needed financial support. And so we're very, very excited and thankful for the people that once again, Sandvik rose up, said, we want to continue to support you. SolidWorks, they contacted us and said, we love what you guys are doing. Renishaw, Coma Precision, Mastercam, and Okuma. Wonderful to have this. These are leaders who are standing up and saying they want to help define how the industry is viewed, because that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to reshape how people see the industry. And so we invited to the shop, we invited 5 experts. While we were shooting this episode, we brought in some people who could answer things. Because if you look at the episodes, there's all this stuff going on in the background. What is it all? I mean, most of you maybe have an understanding, but to the untrained person or to a young person at school, what is all this stuff? So we thought, let's get back to the basics, and we'll get some experts in from an author to a curriculum developer to experts from the industry answering questions about what is CAD, what is CAM, what is machining, what is a cutting tool, what is all this stuff. So we have this series being developed right now that ties in with a cinematic story that we're going to be premiering for you a little bit later. And so these aren't just talking heads. These videos are shot, in the context of something that is legit. It's what is going on all around us. And so if we kind of recap what is going on here, we've got an added series of videos that were shot on location at Straight Line. And these videos are going to be released in the coming months. And if you think about it, we now have one, Edge Factor as an inspiring cinematic experience. Number two, Edge Factor is going to be bringing technology to life for students with videos. But we want to do more because we think that's not going to be sufficient. Really, there's a third thing that we think has to be added into the mix. If we're going to truly do what we set out to do, to break out of the industry, to do something big. And so a recent study shows that students using a hands-on style of activities in a class do better than the students who are simply asking questions for themselves. So what does that mean? Well, we want to give people something to do. We don't just want to show them a really cool story, nor do we want to have them taught in the context of a cool story. We want to give them something to do. And that's really what we're very excited to be telling you today, because coming in the fall of 2011, this year, we're working on something that we hope will be very ingenious, and we hope it'll be very big, and certainly we believe that it's big because we have so many of the critical components to doing something that is going to be very, very fresh. And so what is it? Well, Edge Factor is very excited to be presenting to you that we will be releasing the Reality Redesigned, the series. So when we say we want to do something big, what are we talking about? What is big? Well, how about 5 million participants? We think that's a pretty big number. 50 finalists, 28 weeks, 15 episodes, 8 judges with 1 winner. We think that sounds impressive. How do we back it up? And really, what are we talking about here? What is this thing? Well, it's a gathering of some of the biggest names in manufacturing, in education, and in the mountain biking community. They're coming together to announce a design contest, but it's got a reality show twist. And so we're very, very excited because this is going to be open not just to people in grade school or high school, college, university. This is open to anybody. Anybody can participate. We're going to do this thing in stages. Designs will be submitted and judged by a series of a panel of celebrity judges. That's stage 1. Stage 2 would be the semifinal stage. We actually take this thing now from design off the drawing board and we'll actually make this thing in the rapid prototyping stage. Then in stage 3, the winning design will actually be brought through the manufacturing process. So it went all the way from concept now to completion. Then we'll actually take this thing in our last and final stage and ride it in an event, become part of an event somewhere here in North America. We think that's big. We think that's big because that takes us all the way through inspiring people to learn about manufacturing, all the way to learning about it, and then giving them and their teachers a project that they can actually latch onto. And so this thing is going to unfold in the course of the school year in 2011, 2012, so it's going to be coming out very soon. And we're just announcing it here, but we're going to be unveiling the details very soon. And so to pull this off, I mean, who's the team around this thing? Because that's pretty important, right? If we're going to announce something big, we have a lot of big names attached to it. And we'd like to talk a little bit about that with you. I think it's very fitting that we're announcing this thing here at IMX because we've got SME working with us. Once again, Sandvik stood up and said, we want to help you do this thing. We really think it's a great idea, and we want to help you do it, and we're very thankful for that. We've got Z Corp standing up beside us. Once again, Modern Machine Shop, Manufacturing Engineering, and AMT. We've got all these leaders standing up saying that they're going to help us do it. We couldn't be more excited about that. So that's the manufacturing sector. What about education? Well, honestly, we are really, really thankful because we can say that Reality Redesign is going to be presented by the SME Educational Foundation. Now, I don't know if you've seen the path that we've been steered towards, but education, really, the fact that we're tied in with these guys, it helps define who we are. That's the bottom line. We want to talk about manufacturing, specifically getting our youth excited about it. And so in addition to SME Educational Foundation, we have SolidWorks Education. We have Project Lead the Way. We have got Mastercam Education. We've got others who are standing up saying, yeah, let's do this thing. And collectively, these guys represent a lot of students. Over 4 million students they represent globally. And so we're very excited about that. So when we start thinking about mountain biking, I mean, niche sport, small, right? You really think about that. I mean, how big could this community be? Well, we've got Pink Bike part of the team here. These guys, they're an online mountain biking community. When you think of YouTube and sort of that, well, this is for the mountain bikers. This is their community. And these guys, far from being small, these guys actually have 1.8 million unique visitors a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty big. And these guys have over 82 million monthly page views. For 2012, it's going to be projected over 1 billion page views. Now, we think that's very large, and we're very, very excited about that connection. Because if you think about it, what did Edge Factor say from the beginning we wanted to achieve? We wanted to break out of the industry. We need to get people from outside that are excited to see what manufacturing can do. And so involving somebody like Pink Bike, getting into a community like this is a great way for us to start. And so we're very, very excited that we have these guys as a partner. And we will be announcing details very soon on Pink Bike and on edgefactor.com.